Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it.
Oh, Top Gun. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I guess so. Late night.
We'll see you on the other side, Jin.
Ah, crap. And welcome to the Retrograde
Podcast where we remind you what you used to love and whether or not you still should.
My name's Andrew Jin Bascom, and with me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mikey Late Night Aaronworth. Whoa! Whoa, that was so fast. You buzzed the tower.
I buzzed the tower.
You buzzed the tower.
You can't buzz the tower.
Yeah, you can't do it twice.
You can't do it Watch me.
The first time, fine, you're on disciplinary act. Second time, I need your help. We've got bad planes in the sky.
Andrew, interesting that you introduced us that way.
Yeah.
Because way back when, we gave each other those call signs.
I know.
That was when we first started doing this podcast. Mm-hmm. However many, 4 years ago, something like that?
Over 4 years ago.
Over 4 years ago, we had already heard of the kind of, related topic of this week, Top Gun Maverick, the movie.
We knew that movie was coming out.
Right.
They were talked about it. The script had been filmed. Had been finished, and they were going to start filming. And then 3 years ago, we saw a trailer.
And
boy, was it glorious.
It was glorious, and we were so excited about it.
Didn't we record a bonus episode just about the trailer?
I think we may have. Or it was a bonus episode where we talked about trailers, like a couple good trailers, and that one was absolutely there.
And then COVID, and now COVID's done, so don't worry. Oh, COVID's done. Don't even, if anyone says they have COVID, they're lying.
They're lying.
And then now
they're lying. They've always been lying.
Yeah, exactly. If anyone uses the word fake news, you know that they're an important person. That means very important things. We have Top Gun Maverick hitting theaters. And Mikey and I could not be more excited.
We could not be more excited. It's crazy that we had to wait this long. As we mentioned 3 years ago, while we were talking about our anticipation for the movie, we gave each other these call signs. You are Jin, I am Late Night.
Yeah.
Two very fantastic, equally great call signs, I think. Okay. Maybe Jin is a slightly better call name. That's the one I made up for you.
Don't think so.
We put it out to a vote on our social media at the time. And I remember the Facebook one got 100% vote towards Late Night.
Yeah, but I think everything else was wildly shifted towards Late Night.
Yeah, but 100% is big. And I know...
Was it 1-0?
Well, that's a good question. Did I look that far into it?
It was also 3 years ago. We were a little bit more meeker, a little smaller of an audience back then.
No, it was that I hid the post. And I voted it myself so that technically I could win it. Look, if you're new to this podcast and you found us because you searched Top Gun 2 instead of Top Gun Maverick, go fuck yourself. We tricked you.
Hey, welcome.
We are focusing on the game Top Gun 2.
And you can't leave.
And you can't leave. Guys, you got to listen.
Door closed behind you.
Yeah, door closed behind you. Don't do that barrel roll to get out of here. Don't do that. What's that one in Star Fox where
you do where you go complete loop to loop?
That was the best.
Yes.
I think it's called, the technical term is a loop to loop.
The technical term is a loop-to-loop. When they teach it in Top Gun school.
In Top Gun. Maverick says, hey, John Hamm.
Well, I think John Hamm, we haven't seen the movie yet, heads up. I think John Hamm is the boss of the Top Gun school at this point.
No, Bruce Springsteen is the boss. John Hamm is...
what about Alec Baldwin as the boss, baby?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Actually, I feel like, what if Alec Baldwin's boss baby were voiced by Bruce Springsteen? I think it'd sound a little something like this.
Goo goo gaga, New Jersey. Thank you, everybody. We're here all day. That's great.
So we're focusing on Top Gun 2, the NES game. Obviously, there was a Top Gun on the NES as well. This is obviously the sequel to it, both published by Konami. Both Konami games are developed by Konami. So, it's in good hands. Mm-hmm. But is it a good game? We're going to find out. We're going to be talking about that game in a little bit, obviously in honor of Top Gun Maverick coming out. If you've seen the movie and you're listening to this, let us know what you thought.
Oh, please.
We're planning to do a bonus episode as well about Top Gun Maverick once we have a chance to see it. It'll be in a little bit. We'll be posting it. We just have to line our schedules up. If you want that, go over to Patreon, patreon.com/Retrograde Podcast.
Yes.
You can join the Mushroom Club for $5 a month. You get at least 2 bonus episodes per month, plus access to all of our video gameplay segments, which we've removed from the main portion of the episode. You can all find them over there.
Today's episode, when we go play Top Gun 2. You can watch us play Top Gun 2.
You can watch us play Top Gun 2.
Yeah.
And we've had a pretty decent reception towards those changes that we've made.
Yeah.
It's been going a long way. And as we mentioned in previous episodes, sometimes we like to dig into the reviews that we've been receiving on iTunes and read them out, give you a little bit of a shout out, and maybe inspire some of you out there who are listening who haven't yet given us a rating or a review to go do so. We'll shout you out. We'll give you a little bit of a clout among your friends.
Yes, you could say. I was
Late Night and Gin shouted me out.
Crap. And he's like, Late Night, a really cool name, and Gin. And I'm like, crap.
Gin. This one comes from Brock618 via Apple Podcasts. The topic, Andrew, the title, speaking of earlier days of this podcast, is Hail Satan.
Oh, Hail Satan.
It used to be your sign-off. It used to be your sign-off. Two of the most quick-witted podcasters out there. Easily my new favorite gaming podcast. These guys are destined for greatness. Please review Half-Life 2. I'll settle for Half-Life if 2 is too current. Well, maybe we'll have to get to that in your honor, Brock618.
Hail Satan.
You know what's funny about Brock618?
What's that?
Add the 1 and the 8 together.
No.
Andrew, please do it.
No.
Andrew, you have to.
No.
Andrew?
Okay, wait, give me a second.
Okay.
That's nice.
That was a drop. That sounded like a drop.
It did sound like a drop.
All right, so before we get into
my life is a drop, Mikey. Honestly, I am trapped within a cycle of a drop. Please save me from this life.
Look, before we get into Top Gun proper, we're a very formal podcast, if you haven't been able to tell yet. Andrew, in the gaming realm, catch us up on what's been going on in your gaming world.
Yeah, I am going to beat Star Wars in the next week.
Ooh.
I'm just finishing out the last couple of chapters.
Yes.
You know what's funny, though, is that, like, since you know what happens in these movies, they kind of set you up to kill these characters. And it's kind of, like, very odd where you're, like, running around as, like, Mace Windu is a character, and you're like, hey, go talk to someone. You're like, I don't want to talk to that guy.
Oh.
Because I'm going to die.
Palpatine?
Yeah, the Chancellor, right?
You know you're going to be...
And I'm like, wait a second. It's a very odd feeling. You know what I mean?
They're sending you to your death, and you know it.
Especially because it is essentially a comedy, and there are bits all over the places, and they're all adorable.
Yes.
And you're like, hey, I'm going to murder you. And you're like, oh, no, don't murder me.
What can I do to avoid this? I find it very weird that the term for that would be pathetic fallacy, right? Mm-hmm. You know what's going to happen to the character before the character knows it's going to happen to themselves.
Yes. Wait, is that what pathetic fallacy is?
That's what
I thought.
Pathetic fallacy is the weather. That's the weather. I'm thinking dramatic irony. Dramatic irony. But let's talk about pathetic fallacy.
Well, I just thought it's like something bad's about to happen. It starts raining, and then you're like,
that's when the weather imitates.
It's like a Macbeth thing.
Yes, exactly. And it happens in a lot of Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know.
I'm sorry. I mean the Scottish play. No, that's Hamlet, right? I'm saying both of them
Macbeth
now.
Macbeth is the you can't say the name Macbeth.
Okay, well,
we just did it.
Oh God!
I hope
watch
you break
over the lights,
Andrew. I hope you break both of your legs and your arms.
Wait, what? Why?
I hope your arms break.
Why?
I hope that I get to break your arms. Sorry, is what I meant to say.
There we go. Yes, okay,
yes.
A2 Brute.
Yeah. No, but I think the term pathetic fallacy is it's almost mean. Like why pathetic fallacy? Like ugh. It's not my fault a thunderstorm going overhead when I was angry.
Yeah.
Pathetic about that.
It should be called kick-ass weather.
That's what Shakespeare should have called it.
It's called weather. Fuck yeah.
Hey, the Bard. Rename it. We need new branding. He needs a new marketer.
Hey, Hack.
Hey. Oh.
Hacks is back. You seen
I did
that?
see. I'm excited.
We'll talk about that. We got a Patreon TV episode that we owe you guys, but there's just so much good TV on. We got to talk about it over there.
Too much to catch up on. I've got some games to catch up on as well.
Yeah,
I know that I've been keeping you guys updated on my progress with the likes of Disco Elysium. I've been playing that on my Steam Deck. Andrew, I love my Steam Deck.
You do.
I love it. It's I talked about how the battery can be a little bit of an issue. Mm-hmm. I haven't had an ability to travel with it yet.
Okay.
Like to go from point A to point B and use it on public transportation or anything like that.
Right.
Public transportation is beneath me, so I won't engage in that.
How dare you? Mikey's part of the bourgeoisie.
The bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
I think it's become this kind of like, when people first got their iPads.
Yes.
And they were like, well, I thought I was going to use this on public transit and everything, but you kind of use it as another screen when you're like watching TV or doing something like that. A lot of sports going on right now. I would have the sports playing and be gaming on my Steam Deck. And what I love about it is it's got me back into playing some of the smaller games that I just haven't played in a while or haven't even spent that much time with. I got Soundfall was a game that I mentioned last week.
Yeah.
That was announced at the or was showcased at the Nintendo Direct. A rhythm-based loot shooter, which seems very much up my alley.
Was it part of the loot shoot riots?
The loot shooting riots, right?
What?
Loot shooting riots.
Oh, yeah, Brian Seltzer's orchestra.
Yes,
or the very, very inappropriately named Cherry Popping Daddies.
The Cherry Popping Daddies.
Yikes.
That is...
that was a band that was popular
Yes.
in the 90s.
They popular indeed.
Wow, we just all loved swing music for about 6 months, and then okay, Cherry Pop and Daddies.
Cherry Pop and Daddies.
Sorry.
Daddies. No, but I love that experience of sitting on my couch playing some of these older games. I got The Binding of Isaac that I've been playing a lot. I know a lot. I have some friends who have put like literally 400 hours into The Binding of Isaac,
my
and I
God.
don't understand how that's possible. But it's good to go back and play that. I got Soundfall, like I was mentioning. It's a very... I expected it to feel a little bit more unique, right? Like you have a gun, as you do in a lot of games, and you have to shoot to the rhythm of the song that's playing in the background that's associated with each level. So enemies are coming at you, typical like twin stick shooter, but you press the trigger to fire off. So it's like, say the beat is like doom 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 doom.
Okay, I like it.
Doom.
I like where you're going here.
Then the only times you can shoot are shoot,
Bang,
shoot,
bang,
shoot,
bang,
shoot,
bang,
shoot,
bang, bang.
shoot,
Yeah,
shoot.
okay.
So you get yourself into a rhythm. I find my foot tapping quite a bit. You know, it's an interesting idea, but it ends up feeling just quite a bit like every other twin stick shooter that I played, which is a little bit disappointing, but good on them for trying something new with that genre.
Good on ya.
Good on ya. The other one is, Andrew, Disco Elysium.
Okay, so you've stayed with it.
I'm now sold on the game. Like, you know how I talked about how I tried it. I played about 7 or 8 hours prior to this other attempt with it. I had tried to play it at 2 different points in my life. Didn't quite work for me.
Right.
But now that I have it in a handheld and I can, play a little bit before bed or 15 minutes here or 20 minutes there, rather than booting up my desktop and playing it on a desktop, that just felt bad to me for some reason. I've been enjoying it. The only problem I have is like, it's very conversational, right? Disco Elysium is. And if I'm in the middle of a conversation, I find role-playing games tough because every time a question is posed to me and I'm given a selection of responses that I can give, my instinct is to answer based on what I would answer as Mikey. And it's
But not as your character.
But not as my character.
Okay.
And the people I know who have enjoyed this game the most really like to role play as someone else.
Yes, be someone completely
Right.
different.
I am a brute of a man that's really stupid, but is like there for the common folk or something like, whatever it is. And you base your responses on that.
What is your character now?
Sexless, sniveling fiend with no backbone who hosts 3 podcasts.
Wait a second. How is this different than...
No, that's what I mean is I can't play anything but myself.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about that. So in sports games and stuff, when we do create a character,
Yes.
we cannot help but be ourselves.
Right.
Same dimension, same everything. So how did you... Okay, wait. So you made your character in Disco Elysium not Mikey?
So I tried to make it. I'm continuing the game that I started way back when. 6.5 hours in, I didn't want to replay a lot of the stuff that I did. I felt I'd be doing a lot of the same conversations, and that I tried to make it an element of like, kind of an overthinker, mildly physically capable, but also very good at manipulating people. And I was like, okay, that's going to be me.
That's fun.
That's
fun.
That's what it was. It's kind of a hyper realized version of myself. And I put points into that. And then now since I've gone back with it, I'm like, well, maybe I want to be like just a shit talker, just someone who doesn't give a fuck and this and that. But every time I'm given an opportunity to do that, to like say something really mean to someone just to get a laugh or something like that from myself, because I'm the person playing it, I empathize with the characters way too. I can't do it. I just can't role play as another character. And now I find my build is all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
I've been trying to put stats into other things and it's tough, but I'm kind of enjoying that. I'm now embracing the fact that my build is someone who has not realized who he is. I don't
That's
really
kinda
have an idea.
cool,
I'm
though.
kind of playing like my own internal monologue is like, is you should say this. Well, I can't say this, even though I want to, but I'm not going to.
Your character's working on himself.
It's working on himself.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it's cool. I'm loving it. It's insane how big this game is in terms of the amount of text and the options and dialogue and all that stuff. Everything is voice acted, which is different from when I first started playing the game since the update. And it's hilarious. It's really fucking funny when it wants to be and really tragic when it wants to be. Very cool. Very cool game, Andrew. I do think that this is a game that if you have some time, you should definitely check this one out because it's a game that I feel like you could sink some time into for sure.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that feels like something right down my alley. How about the Steam Deck? So, like, you said you haven't traveled with it. It feels like it's as wide as an airplane seat.
Yeah, it won't fit in my carry-on, I don't think.
No, it won't. Yeah,
No.
seriously.
Yeah. I tried to take it on a plane. The reason I haven't traveled with it is because the stewardess said I had to check it.
The stewardess. The stewardess said you had to check it?
Yes.
And was it your attitude?
Yeah, at the door.
Yeah, seriously. Eh?
And then I looked at her and I thought I could say something really mean, but I empathized with her.
You got to put more points towards your empathy.
I should have, yeah.
Well, I'm interested. I'm glad to see that you're both playing the Steam Deck and you're sticking with Disco Elysium.
Yes.
All these games that you will probably not finish, so that's really great. You know, because as obviously if you've forgotten, #Mikey doesn't finish.
I love that you brought that up, Jin.
Why? Okay, first of all, I hate that, but yeah, why?
No, I don't love that you brought that up.
Oh, okay,
I'm
you're
getting
being
better at
sarcastic.
finishing. Look,
You are better at finishing?
I'm better than I used to be at finishing.
Have you finished a game in a while?
So I've been playing Overwatch 2. I know you just said something, but I gotta go. I gotta move on to the next topic here,
Overwatch
Andrew.
2. I feel like Overwatch is somewhat bubbling in your head at all times anyway.
Always.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Always.
Yep.
And I feel the pull, the sirens call yet again. I can't turn it on without playing like 4 or 5 matches. I'm very excited for the beta to end because I can't keep playing this fucking game.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. But I've had this weird thing where like I'm nowhere near as good at Overwatch 2 as I was at Overwatch 1. And I have no idea what it is. I was like, has it just been that I've spent so much time away from Overwatch? Because I spent about 2-3 months away from Overwatch prior to Overwatch 2 coming out, which is a lot of time. A lot of time for Mikey. A lot of time for me. And I thought maybe my aim wasn't as snappy or this and that. Maybe I wasn't used to the sensitivity of my mouse. So after the last time I played, and this is going to kind of lead me into just my general closing thoughts on the Overwatch beta because it's closed as of the release of this episode.
Oh, okay.
I went back after the last time I played and played a match in Overwatch 1. So now I have a good comparison side by side of Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2.
Interesting.
And it turns out I am way better at Overwatch 1 than Overwatch 2.
But doesn't that make sense, though? You've spent so much more time in Overwatch 1.
Right, but isn't everyone refiguring out Overwatch 2 at the same time? Like, they haven't changed much about it.
So it should be a level playing field.
You would think so, right? I just feel like I can't have the same impact on the team. And in spite, like, the first thing, so one of the major things Overwatch 2 versus Overwatch 1 is that they have really gotten rid of most shields in the game. Overwatch 1 it got to the point where it was about standing behind a shield for the most part.
Or 3 shields.
Or 3, like way too many shields.
All these shields.
So when I booted up Overwatch 1 and I'm Ana and I'm in my space, I was just shooting shields for the majority of the fucking game until I'm like, right, I have to find a new angle and move and this and that. But it's even down to like the clickiness of my aim and the my ability to track my targets. And I looked it up and Overwatch 2 is on a new engine. So it does make sense that the aiming feels to me a little bit more loose, maybe a little bit more recoil. I just can't track my targets a bit. And maybe it's just a matter of getting used to the new look and feel of it. But overall, as much as I'm more comfortable with Overwatch 1, I know a lot of people are complaining out there right now about Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 is a better game. It's a better game, fewer shields. The one tank, as much as it has the potential to ruin a match because you can get one bad tank and then there's no one else sticking up for your team, when it works, it feels way better. And I like that about it. So I am excited for Overwatch 2. I will be getting it when it comes out. All in all, I think the people who are complaining that not enough has changed, again, I don't need to reiterate this or relitigate this, but like, you got to calm down. I don't know what you expected to change more in this. They got to keep it relatively similar to the first one, both for the pros and for the fans watching. They don't want to split the player base too much. So I think if you're out there and you haven't had a chance to play the beta, keep an open mind if you do eventually get a chance to do it. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, I'm excited that I can now take a little bit more of a break and play some other games again and not always have Overwatch on the top of my head. But yeah, it was a good experience.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. I can't wait to see when we can do probably a whole episode about when Overwatch 2 comes out and talking all about it.
Talking all about it, of course. One thing I know I wouldn't be able to control very well is a goddamn fighter jet.
Really?
And that is the topic.
But wait a second. I know it's the topic of the episode. I'm so sorry I cut on. We're talking about Top Gun 2.
Yes.
You have been incessant about the insane way that you play video games. You're like, I have pilot controls, which means inverted X-axis, Y-axis.
Y-axis.
Y-axis. And you're always like, that's why you wouldn't be a pilot, Andrew.
You wouldn't be a pilot, Andrew.
But you just said you wouldn't be able to control a fighter pilot.
A fighter pilot. I know my limits.
You'd be a commercial airline pilot?
Give me a Cessna or something like that.
A Cessna?
Yeah.
Maybe UPS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe Castaway situation. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was
Listen,
FedEx.
I can. Oh yeah. Great sponsorship, FedEx.
Yeah, you know what? I remembered it.
You remembered it.
Hey.
Are you ever about to send a letter to a loved one and you're like, UPS, no, they didn't crash Tom Hanks onto an island and desert him for a while. I'm going to ship with FedEx.
You could clearly tell, though, part of the thing was with FedEx that they're like, he's got to care for the packages, though.
Yes.
Like, he has to care about, losing them. Oh, no. You know, not all the other death on the plane or anything like that.
No. Fuck those people.
Yeah.
Fuck those pilots. I got
a volleyball. I got to deliver.
I got a volleyball to become friends with. Did you, when that movie came out, this is a little bit sidetrack because we do want to talk about Top Gun 2 for a while, but did you, when that movie came out, ever fantasize about spending some time on an island like that?
Oh, I think everyone has.
Has that always been, like, realistically, do you think you would have any moments of enjoyment, or would it just be terrible all around?
No, I think we've romanticized this idea enough where people think they would have a good time, and it would just be a nightmare the whole time.
It would be miserable.
But like Swiss Family Robinson and all the, like, there's been stories throughout history of us, like, you know, getting marooned on an island, but you know, it's not so bad. Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
You know, it's not so bad, except it would just be a nightmare.
Until you literally have no way to open a coconut. Like, cannot do it. First of all, good luck getting the coconut.
Yeah.
Did you know falling coconuts kill like way more people per year than... And these are only the recorded ones. We're not talking about people who have been marooned on an island and catch a coconut in the head.
Yeah, no, you're right. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, no one's talking about those deaths.
I watched Survivor.
Yeah.
And I'm watching these guys, and they have the help of, like, they're given like a flint and, you know, a machete.
Yes.
And they're given like a little head start, and they look fucking miserable. They lose like half their body weight. It's terrible.
Granted, they do have to take part in physical challenges, and they spend half of their energy searching for immunity idols.
Yeah, that's true. And also, like, they're watching their back constantly that someone's going to vote them out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be also pretty bad.
Yeah. I feel like there could be circumstances. Like, do you ever watch survival shows? I mean, this is getting way off topic. But one last thing about it.
Alone and Naked, or Naked Alone, or Naked Afraid.
Alone and Naked. Andrew, this isn't my biography. That's Naked and Afraid.
Wait, Alone is one.
Right. And
isn't that the one where they're away for like hundreds of days?
I think so, yeah. God, and like they don't even know whether they've won or lost.
Exactly. The producers have to come over and go like, well, that's it.
And then there's Naked and Afraid, which is a different one.
Thank you very much. And Survival Man.
Survivor Man. Survivor Man had one episode where he went to a desert island, and not a desert island. He went to like a
deserted island.
Deserted.
An island of Sundays.
The Lord's Day.
Only rest on this day.
That's basically what he did. Like it was I think it was in the Caribbean or something like that. And he could fish. He found like mollusks. He's got like coconuts. He found a root that he could make into a root beer. And he's like, I know I complain a lot on this show, but this is a vacation for me. He's like he could fucking do it. I'm not saying I could, but like he could figure it out.
No, I think there's also like humans are social creatures. And if you're alone, it's like a huge percentage of like why you live in general. Right. You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, that would just be miserable.
I'd be like, ooh, finally some peace and quiet. Time to boot up my Steam. Oh no!
It ran out of batteries immediately. I had to check it.
Okay, so let's get back into Top Gun now. It's Top Gun 2, a.k.a. Top Gun: The Second Mission, a.k.a. Top Gun: Dual Fighters, as released in Japan. Developed and published by Konami, came out January 1990, and it wasn't released in Europe until October 24th, 1991.
Oh, whoa.
Came out like a full year and a half, almost 2 years later.
Do you think they weren't planning on releasing in Europe in general, but they just clamored so loud for it? They're like, we need this Top Gun Dual Fighters.
You don't remember the protests?
No, I'm sorry. Was that about the wall or was that about Top Gun?
It was actually, they tied them both in together.
It was Hasselhoff sang it both.
Yes, exactly. Mr. Gorbachev, let us play Top Gun. What's that? The wall? What's the wall?
Yeah.
You can fly over a wall in a fighter jet. I don't know what we're talking about here.
Open up the wall. It's full of Top Gun Dual Fighters. I think.
So it's this game does have a prequel, aptly titled Top Gun.
Okay.
Came out in 1987. The movie was 1986. And now, Andrew, you and I used to talk about Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because Ghostbusters was a franchise that had way more lasting appeal than it had any business having,
Absolutely.
Right? One good movie, arguably two decent movies. And then just lasts for decades.
Yes.
And it's all we're talking about. Top Gun comes out in 1986. And it's got a massive list of influences in video games. I'm going to read you a list of video games that came out. You got Top Gun.
Okay, makes sense.
Which was an ocean game.
Okay.
Developed by...
No, it's not. It's a Sky game.
Sky game.
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you.
You've got Top Gun, a Konami game. You got Top Gun, The Second Mission, Danger Zone, Guts and Glory, Fire at Will, Hornet's Nest, Firestorm, Combat Zones, Air Combat, Air Combat 2, Top Gun 2006, Gulf Crisis, Top Gun 2007, Top Gun 2009, Top Gun 2, which came out later, Top Gun 2010.
Why do they name them like Maddens? Like, what is that all about?
No, they're just called Top Gun, but I'm just saying the year that this one came out.
Okay, I thought it was Top Gun 2016.
That would be good.
With
they are sponsored. John Madden is in these games.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, how do you think he died?
Choking on a turkey leg?
Yeah, and Chicken Leg was the name of the ace that shot him down.
Shut down in his prime.
Crazy that it had so much influence as just a singular entry, right? Like,
well,
this is Top Gun 2 that we're getting the movie.
It is crazy that Top Gun, one single movie, has had such an like, people know about Top Gun. Mm-hmm. Like, I was showing my player one, Top Gun #1, the only movie, excuse me.
Right.
Top Gun, the only. About 2 years ago at the start of COVID, she'd never seen it.
Really?
But she knew the whole movie. Like, everyone knows this movie.
Right. Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of Fire.
Which is an ironic song to sing if you're a fighter pilot.
And also how he dies.
Yes.
Okay, makes you think. The homoerotic volleyball scene. Sorry.
You think Goose is a better name than Jin?
I think Goose is an amazing name because he owns it and it's his personality. And Goose.
You could own Jin.
I don't like it, so I'm not going to.
But if you did.
It'd be great if you... Yeah, well, you could have named me that or anything else. So,
vodka?
What was number... That was number 2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gin's better than vodka.
Okay. What about...
We're slowly finding out the worst name. This
vermouth?
Does it have to be alcohol related?
For you, yeah.
What about a cocktail then? Why is it just... This is the thing that's so unoriginal about this. You're just naming a thing.
Well, okay, so fine. Let's think of another one.
Like, if like your late night, I could name you Desk. And it's like, well, that's not as nice. It's the composed thing of all the things together.
Martini. Old Fashioned.
Old Fashioned, not bad.
That's not bad. Manhattan, there's a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Project Manhattan, yes.
Was that this episode or
no, that is the episode that's coming out next week.
In the future, I'm going to talk about Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Your eyes rolled back and they became completely white. Did you just see the future? Amazing.
Listen, you mentioned Cocktail.
Yeah.
That's another movie Tom Cruise was in.
Yes. Shot in Toronto.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
Toronto, great bar scene as well. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about Tom Cruise's movies that didn't end up being made into video games.
Okay.
Tom Cruise has been in a ton of movies, and a lot of them have been made into games. We did Mission Impossible on the N64 a long time ago on this one, on this podcast. And it was a great game, held up really, really well.
We love that game.
Minority Report, another game that was made into a video game that was relatively well received, although Tom Cruise wasn't in it. The blonde hair guy was, who was also in Band of Brothers. I don't remember his name.
Give me a second. I'll think of it. Very, very blue eyes.
Very blue eyes.
Yeah,
very
creepily blue eyes.
Creepily blue eyes. His call sign would be Blue Eyes.
Yeah,
See,
old blue eyes.
I'm good at this.
He'd be called chairman of the board. Yeah.
Chairman of the board. What about I'm thinking about the movies that Tom Cruise was in that haven't gotten video games, and I want to talk about what those games would be like. Andrew,
okay.
Do you have any off the top of your head that you can think of?
Well, how do you not go to Days of Thunder?
NASCAR
racing movie.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Let's absolutely. If you're not racing, you're not rubbing. What is that?
If you ain't rubbing, if
rubbing is racing.
Rubbing is racing. I think it's something
like
that.
You know what I'm talking about. God damn it! I really chewed that one up.
Unless you're like prepping a chicken for the barbecue, then that's not racing.
No,
although I want to race to get that shit in my tummy. You know what I mean?
You got to rub that chicken.
Got to rub that chicken.
Absolutely,
Andrew.
Hey! Don't choke it though.
Hey!
Guys.
Don't pull a John Madden. Don't choke on that chicken. I like that. You know what? I like adding. It's a racing sim, but let's add a dating sim element to it.
Oh,
the better you race, the more she's gonna like you.
I like it, but it's like the drive to survive element of it. Like there is, you see the out of the car politics and like that kind of side of it. I think that's a great way to go.
I mean, do we go so bold as to say that this game has no racing in it? You can watch the races, but it's about living the life of Dale Earnhardt.
Dick Trickle?
Dick Trickle. Wow. Is that his name?
It's one of their names. Or is that a real race driver? I think that was a real guy, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. Somebody loves this movie and is yelling at their iPhone right now, like just screaming. Hopefully not public transportation.
I was going to say, looking crazy. I wouldn't know. I don't take that.
Okay.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
There you go. What were you going to say?
Okay, how about this?
Yeah.
A Few Good Men.
Oh, Courtroom Simulator?
Courtrooms like Ace Attorney.
Oh, that's great.
You have to yell into your Nintendo DS, you can't handle the truth every time someone asks you for an answer for something.
Harass the witness. Can I approach stand? Yes. YN. Yes. Okay, there we go. Oh my God.
I think that would make a good one. Give it that courtroom simulation, but like spice it up a little bit. We know Tom Cruise isn't going to lend his voice to it, so we can get a little bit ham on it. Like John
Ham. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Ham. Yes.
John Ham. No jokes though. The Last Samurai would make a legit. I know that movie has its issues, which is he would have
like what?
Well, he wouldn't have needed to train in order to just subjugate that entire race of people. He's American. He didn't need that.
No. It is the atypical white savior movie. Like it's crazy.
Yes, prototypical. I think.
Sure.
Right? Atypical would be like different from most, but he legitimately.
Oh, I was thinking the first, like the one you could hold up most. Yeah, you're saying
prototypical, right? Yeah.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Atypical, that Netflix show would make a great video game as well.
There are so many movies you can do. Here, okay. Edge of Tomorrow.
Sure.
Absolutely. This should be a video game.
Do you mean Live, Die, Repeat?
The better of the two titles? Yes. I do. Live, Die, Repeat. You argue that it's not
Edge of Tomorrow is the better title.
It's absolutely not. You know how I know that? Because it's a great movie and it's starring the biggest movie star in the world and it absolutely crapped out in the movie theaters. So because the name's like Edge of Tomorrow. What was that? I don't know. Live, Die, Repeat? I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, but what if Groundhog's Day were called Live, Die, Repeat?
But it's not. It's called Groundhog Day, and it was a great movie that was very popular.
Right.
It's been an enduring classic.
In spite of the fact that the name had nothing to do with what the movie was about.
It's exactly what the movie's about. They're there for Groundhog Day. He attacks the fucking groundhog.
But Groundhog Day doesn't typically repeat itself.
But it's a movie about Groundhog Day.
Right, and they're living on the edge of tomorrow, but they'll never get there.
We all are living on the edge of tomorrow, Mikey. That makes no sense.
But I don't want to watch a movie about us. I want to watch a movie about Tom Cruise living on the edge of tomorrow.
But everyone's living on the edge of tomorrow. This is insane.
Well, we all experience Groundhog Day. We've all punched a groundhog.
I'm not the last samurai. And yet.
Edge of Tomorrow would. What about The Mummy?
I didn't even think about the Mummy. My joke answer was going to be Born on the 4th of July.
I had that written down as well. Born on the 4th of July. I'm picturing that as a point-and-click adventure done by LucasArts with Tim Schafer at the helm.
Yeah. I like that. I think it's because you just play Top Gun and then you have to play its sequel, Born on the 4th of July, because Tom Cruise has guilt about how many people have signed up for the military because of Top Gun. It's great. What about you could also do Magnolia, where you're just given very inspirational sex speeches. I didn't even think about that. I thought a Tropic Thunder movie where you are a manager and you have to save your clients. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's kind of fun. I like that. I can't imagine how that would play, but it could be interesting. There could be a Dance Revolution style for Risky Business. Ooh, because I was going to say there could be a Dance Revolution style for the post-credit sequence of Tropic Thunder where he dances to apple bottom jeans. Tom Cruise does. Absolutely, but he slides into with old time rock and roll in his underwear. Ding, 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 yeah, the Ray-Bans and the dress shirt. Very famous. Man. Every Tom Cruise movie. It turns out Tom Cruise made a lot of movies that are very popular and everyone loves them. And on top of that, the thing that I could not leave with is make more Mission Impossible games. Yes, honestly. They've only gotten better. Honestly, go back and listen. I'm not sure how the sound quality would be, but if our episode, I can't imagine it was pre-200, but some of our episodes are going off of the main feed because we only list 200 at a time, but Mission Impossible, the N64 game, what a fucking delight that game was. Such a good game. And if they could get us a modern one with Fallout or something like that, it'd be so much fun. That'd be fantastic. So Top Gun, the original Top Gun video game, to get back to that, came out, as I mentioned, in 1987. It was an adaptation. It was an adaptation of Versus Top Gun, which was a Nintendo game on an arcade console. I'm not sure if have you heard of the Nintendo Versus? No. Nintendo Versus it was at the time of the video game crash in North America. Nintendo was doing fine in Japan, right? Like they were doing okay. Famicom was out. They were doing their thing.
but they still wanted to break into the North America market. Atari had shit the bed. The arcade was no longer in its heyday, but they had the ability to develop these arcade cabinets where you could swap out basically different. It was Data East had invented this new type of arcade cabinet where you could kind of swap out different games.
Yep.
And that kind of got them back into the market. They did fairly well for themselves. They used Famicom hardware in those consoles so that it would be very relative to the home consoles. And they kind of used that to test the market to see whether or not Nintendo still had a foothold in North America or could kind of hack it out there. And its success is kind of what paved the way for the market. And a lot of games came out as direct adaptations or adaptions, as some stupid people would say, to the games that were released on this console. So Versus Top Gun was one of them, and you would play it side by side, co-op with it, or dogfighting with another member or another friend who's playing the game alongside you. A really cool thing. Like, the more we do this podcast, the more we find out that Nintendo had all these crazy cabinets and consoles and adaptions that we didn't even realize.
It's amazing how many times they failed. That's the thing that blows my mind. And it's like really super impressive for the company in general.
Yeah.
They constantly pushed things that didn't work.
Right.
And they still just, bounce back with absolute like stone cold stunners.
I think they've ingrained themselves, and it wouldn't have been the case here, but they've ingrained themselves so heavily and significantly into our subconscious that I don't think we can allow them to fail. They're like the banks at this point. Like, if they give us a stinker, we'll just bail them out. I mean, the Wii U didn't do very well.
No, and they came back with the Switch.
Came out with the Switch, and they're on top of the fucking world right now. Crazy. Again. So the gameplay of Top Gun 2, as I mentioned, it was or Top Gun, the second mission, as a successor to Top Gun from 1987. You're back as Maverick, baby, and it's time to take down the Soviet Union.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm in. Oh, wait, that's it? Oh, that's it. There's no more?
No, what more do you need?
I assume with planes.
It's Top Gun.
Yeah.
Top Gun is basically just relying on the fact that we love airplanes and shooting things, and it's like, we'll take whatever you give us there.
100%.
One of the enemy aces, it's not, the Soviet Union is not explicitly named in this, but you could tell by their call signs who it is.
What are their call signs?
Well, there's one, one, it's a little subtle. I don't know. I think you'll be able to put two and two together.
Oh, really?
This guy's name is Stalin.
One of the call signs' name is Stalin?
Yes.
Okay. Like stalling.
I know, it's pretty
waiting.
No. Stalin.
I tried to give you okay.
Nope.
Wow.
No, it is Stalin, and I know it's subtle. You may not be able to connect the dots there, but
No, I'm aware. No, I'm aware of Joseph Stalin's existence. Yeah.
Who?
No, there was a dictator for the USSR, Joseph Stalin.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Then why is this ace named Stalin?
I don't know. Maybe it is Joseph Stalin. Did anyone check under the helmet?
The other name is the Red Baron. No, but that's 100% true. One of the call signs of, I'm not making that up.
Oh, I thought you were joking the whole time.
I'm not joking. That's actually one of the call signs of the fighter pilots.
Stalin.
So the whole time you were thinking that I just made a bad joke?
Yes.
Good on you for playing along, but no, that's not a joke.
Thank you. I'm kind of used to it. We've done 200 and something of these things.
Well, you never have to play along until now. You can play through one of 3 missions, one of which ends with like taking down a space, like the Star Wars project. Like it's going to space. It's losing the thread on what makes Top Gun Top Gun. But you can play one of the missions, or you could go into one-on-one dogfight missions against one of the 7 aces in the game, or play against a friend.
Can I play volleyball?
You can play volleyball. That's
okay.
Sorry, you're not flying planes in this.
You playing volleyball?
You're just playing volleyball.
I gotta play volleyball against Stalin.
Yes. And boy, does he look good in jean shorts.
Yeah, boy, does he, eh?
You start with it like typical gameplay. You're in a fighter jet, standard gun that's got unlimited ammo. That's what you're shooting at most of the time. But you can also choose your loadout before missions. You can go, for example, with an AIM-9 Sidewinder, an AIM-7 Sparrow, or an AIM-54 Phoenix. And I'm choosing 54 every time. That's 6 times better than the AIM-9.
That's true.
Why would you go with
think
anything
about
else?
that? Yeah. Also, that was my favorite studio. So
Studio 64?
54.
Well, it's... Oh, yeah, I did say 54. Why did I get 64 from?
I don't know. I heard you do the math too, and you were kind of right. You said 9 times, and that's why I okay. You're not a good guy at math. We went through this last week.
I'm not a good guy in general. The reception, better than, a lot of people thought it was better than Top Gun, the original, but not quite good enough to give it a good rating. I think this was kind of a cash-in, which is kind of surprising for Konami. Not that they're completely without those sorts of cash-in games, but reviews ranged everywhere from a 39% to an 8 out of 12, which is a weird review.
8 out of 12?
Yeah, it's a weird
How do
one.
I figure that
There
one
was
out?
Top Gun 1 had a rating out of 1,000 that I found, which is a weird one. Yeah. So all over the place. But
Can you imagine we go back, we got a score of 145, and everyone's like, yeah, all right. It's out of 1,000. Wait, what? Okay, no. Wait, so the Top Gun 1 was bad then?
It wasn't great, but I think it was more about live in the moment. Pretend like you're using a fighter jet, baby.
Live, love, laugh.
What more do you want?
Life's not a dress or
laugh,
handsome.
love. Live, laugh. Yeah, I think that's the order of things.
Live, laugh,
First you
love.
live, then you laugh, then you love. Otherwise,
Look, what if live was last because you had to get the first two to live?
oh God, then I'd be dead a long time.
Fair enough.
Yes,
Yeah. That's why you put live first then. I
Yes,
guess.
yeah,
okay.
gotta live, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look. There's not too much more to say about this game, apart from the fact that I am kind of excited to play a fighter jet game. I'm
yes.
excited for the dog fighting.
Yep.
Who knows how good or bad it's going to be? I know I say this a lot, but sometimes the simplicity of an NES game really ages it well, and I'm holding out hope that will be the case with this one.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to play this. Anything Top Gun, anything fighter pilot, like it's just such a unique arena in
Yes.
which I understand everything.
Like
and we
Gilbert.
don't ever, what's that now?
Like Gilbert.
Like Gilbert Arenas. I have two guns in my hands and I'm threatening people that don't pay up for their poker losses. I'm in an arena I know and I don't get to visit very often.
Yes.
There's not a lot of fighter pilot games and yet I feel like I have a good handle on fighter pilot stuff.
100%.
Like that's kind of crazy.
100%. And we'll see if we still have a good handle on this one. I am probably at an advantage because I use inverted controls on the Y-axis in most games I play. Therefore, I am a better pilot, although I know my limits and I know that piloting an F-14 is going to be fairly difficult.
Okay, well that's very honest and very humble of you.
Thank you.
So why don't we go over and play? You can visit us. You can listen to us and watch us play this game, Top Gun 2, over at patreon.com/Retrograde podcast.
That's right. It's a Mushroom Club. It's $5 a month plus bonus episodes. If you're not going to do that, no big deal. We'll see you on the other side. It'll be 30 seconds or so and we'll be back. Don't miss us too much.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, babies.
We'll see you in 2 shakes of an F-14's tail.
Oh no, that F-14's broken.
Just a reminder that you can now find our gameplay segments where we play through a portion of today's game and provide video commentary while doing it over on our Patreon, patreon.com/the Retrograde Podcast. Join the Mushroom Club for $5 US per month for access to all the gameplay, plus 2 to 4 bonus episodes per month where we do things like character drafts, top 10 lists, and even take some suggestions from our community. So show some support to the podcast by joining the Mushroom Club at patreon.com/the Retrograde Podcast for access to bonus content and all of our gameplay segments. We'll see you guys on the other side.
And welcome back to the Retrograde.
Jin, I got something to say to you.
Yeah. Come in.
You got to use my call sign.
Come in late night.
Thank you very much. Don't look so disappointed in that.
It's a good call sign. I wish it was mine.
You have to be funnier and have your own late night talk show host. Hey, Jin.
Need someone funnier.
I didn't appreciate going toe to toe with you.
Why is that?
In that game? Well, because I lost the exchange.
Boy, did you.
And I think it was cheating and my controller was probably broken. I think my
Did you have
controller
the
was
Mad
broken.
Catz controller?
I had the Mad Catz.
That's a good call sign.
Yeah, Mad Catz. Mad Catz is a very good call sign.
Although I've heard that Mad Catz flies planes that are just slightly worse than most planes.
Are you trying to turn left? It doesn't turn left. Oh, crap. We got to turn right the whole way around. So we just played Top Gun 2. Very interesting. So obviously, once again, over at patreon.com/Retrograde Podcast if you want to see it. But, a really interesting and hard game to describe.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
It is. I mean, okay.
Okay.
From top down, from Top Gun down.
From top 2 down.
It's very easy from Top Gun 2 down. It's very easy to explain, which is just you're in a fighter pilot.
First person.
It's cockpit view.
Yep.
You got to make it through to fight the aerial aces.
Oh, you made it really easy. Never mind.
Right?
It wasn't hard at all.
But the controls and the graphics are very hard to explain. It is, I will say this, it feels like it's doing a lot with the NES, a lot more than should be done with the NES.
Yes.
It's graphically impressive. It does that kind of thing where it plays with perspective to make it look like a first-person thing, but you can tell it's just kind of showing you flat screens that you're imagining is 3D space in front of you.
Yeah. That's fair. But I was going to say, I actually did feel like I was going fast sometimes. Is that not fair?
Well,
but that's why so when you're going over the ocean
Yes.
or surface or something like that, there's no description of the ocean. Like it's just flat,
Right.
but it's in bars.
Sure,
light
sure.
bar, dark bar, light bar, dark bar. And in that way, it helped you show it's a trap. And in that way, it helps you show speed to go like, oh, the bars are moving faster.
Yeah.
And then the planes are coming at you faster.
Well, so that's where I disagree. Yes, with the ocean, but not so much with the planes.
Okay,
Because regardless of how fast you were going, there was a speed up button, and when you're holding that, you're accelerating, and there's a shoot button. It's the NES. There's 2 buttons. What do you want from us?
gonna shoot.
Get away from us. What more do you want for us to say?
I think we peaked at that controller, and then everything else from there has been downhill.
It's been too much.
Yeah.
I have paddles on my controller.
Do you want 14 buttons? No. Well, you're gonna get them.
I am actually a big fan of the more buttons, the better. I
Really?
want the L1, R1, L1, R1, R2, L2. I want paddles in the back. That's like my old fraternity days. Yes, for sure. I like all that stuff.
That's funny. You remember like back in the day too, like the NES, and then they would show you like these custom controllers that you can buy at the back of like a Game Pro.
Yes.
And it was as big as, a keyboard, and you're like,
Yes. Like almost more like an arcade setup, especially for the fighting games.
Yes.
The craziest was, I think there was this game called Steel Battalion, which was a mech game.
Yes.
That came with like a $250 controller that was fucking massive.
Huge.
And I've always wanted that. I imagine getting your hands on it now would be very difficult and very expensive and very not worth it.
Not worth it. Yeah, it'd be disappointing.
Yes.
Like it would be. You'd like, I've always wanted this. You're like, in 2 minutes, and you're like,
Until this moment. Okay, so more about the game though.
Yeah.
We talk about the perspective and the speed and all this stuff. I felt like it felt as though it was almost separated into like set pieces where it's like you're flying, you're going fast, and then all of a sudden here's 3 planes and they're top right, middle, bottom left, something like that.
Sure,
And it's like, okay, that's the direction I need to shoot. Sometimes they're firing missiles at you, sometimes you're firing at them. But more than anything, it felt like I didn't always have as much control over whether or not I was going to die. It was more about like, did I just so happen to be aiming at the right place, right time? Because once the missiles go, you have like a split second to shoot
really
those things.
do.
It's really quick. Now, when you watch the computer playing the game before you boot it up, it looks as though they're constantly doing maneuvers, the barrel rolls and the loop-de-loops and all that stuff. I think those are the only 2 maneuvers that you do.
Yep.
So maybe that's more along the lines of how you
speed
avoid
and slow
getting
down.
hit.
But that's the
speed
other
and
one.
slow
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
yes.
Using your speed. Sorry.
But the speed felt like it didn't have any bearing on what you were doing, which I'm sure it did, but it's, in the limited time that we spent with it, not that I'm saying we should have spent more, but it didn't feel like it was that indicative of doing something better or worse. It just kind of felt like you would see the speed gauge go up, the speedometer, and then come back down.
Yeah.
But the planes around you wouldn't really change or do anything differently accordingly. It was just going to throw these new set pieces at you where it's like, don't care how fast you're going. Here's the next 3 planes and the order that you have to shoot them in.
Right.
And that's that.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And like, so we played 2 different versions of the game. We played the single person, the 1-player version of the game where you're facing as AI and many AI, by the way. And then a version where we were versing each other here.
Right. Which one did you like better?
I don't know. It's always fun to play couch co-op these days because it's so rare.
This wasn't co-op though, versus.
Well,
but
versus,
still, to
excuse
play
me, but-
side by side.
Yeah, to play
video
side by
games,
side.
yes.
Excuse me. Yes, was fun because it's so rare to do that. But I don't know if that's ultimately the better version of the game. I think the better version of the game is against the AI in the single person or 1 player.
I definitely had more fun, even though I ended up losing. I definitely had more fun doing the verses.
Oh yeah,
I did. I think it was a little bit too quick. I think it was harder to make the games last long, and then it would boot you right out to the title screen after every match, which is a little bit disappointing. But playing against the AI just felt very, moment to moment, felt very samey. And I couldn't imagine playing through 3 levels of that if it's just kind of the standard shit over and over again,
Yeah. But this is a big just mark on games from the NES and stuff like that.
Yes.
That we always go back and play.
Yes.
It's like we play for, honest to God, 20 minutes, and then we sit there and go, so that's it, eh?
Yes.
Okay. And then we just do it again and again and again a couple more times. But it's a limitation of the device in general.
But sometimes that works better, and sometimes
true.
like
that's true.
I almost feel like they. And I'm not faulting it for taking a bigger swing and playing with perspective in a way that we haven't really seen too much on the NES. I know other games do it, but this one felt like a bigger swing because they tried to play with the graphics. I feel like if you're playing this back in 1987 was when the original came out. I believe I said 1990.
1990 because
1990
in Europ
yes,
it came in 1991.
1991.
Hello.
If
David Hasselhoff.
bring down this wall. I'm very familiar. Let me sing to you, Dr. Gorbachev. Doctor.
Doctor. Did you give him a doctorate?
I did.
Oh, you did?
As David Hasselhoff.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. And I said, now I'll strip that away from you if you don't tear down this wall. That's why I did it.
And he said, no, my parents are so proud of me. I need to hold on to this doctorate.
Yeah. He didn't know it was an honorary doctorate from Trump University, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is his major?
Not really worth that
He turns
much.
it around. Farts. Oh, no. Oh, God.
Major is steak sales.
Yes. Trump vodka, Trump Airlines. Yeah.
Exactly. Cameos in Home Alone movies. That's
Yes,
another
100%.
course that you
That was maybe the best thing he's ever done, though.
I think so.
Yep.
Debatable. Depends on who you ask.
The endorsement of this podcast is the best thing Trump's ever done.
Yes.
Which is a dangerous topic to get into in general, is Home Alone 2.
No, but if you're playing this game back in 1990, I think that the visual presentation would be impressive. And that's all
Yes.
you needed.
Yes.
You didn't need it to be good. You wanted it to be impressive. I think a lot of video games at that time were kind of about the showiness of it. Like, hey, you know that thing you saw in an arcade? Look, I'm playing that at home. Isn't this cool? Doesn't necessarily mean it's fun.
Well, or the opposite side, too, is that I watched this is a movie tie-in video game.
Right.
I want to be Maverick.
Yes.
Do you feel like you're Maverick? And maybe in 1990, you're like, fuck yeah, this is what Maverick saw.
Maybe our imaginations were so much better then that this would have been good enough. It's a good point. It's almost facetious, but not quite. Like it was, this is all you needed.
Oh,
then
absolutely.
to make you feel like you were embodying Maverick.
But yeah, like, I don't think if it was a third party, like if you're outside the plane, I don't think that would have been the same thing. I think people wanted to feel like they were the pilot in the movie.
I agree. And it did a good job of that. And as I say that, it's almost interesting thinking about the fact that it's almost interesting. It's not quite interesting. A little bit.
I would not want it to be interesting.
I would not want it to be.
Fully.
Not on this podcast.
No.
It's almost interesting, the fact that this era of video games, maybe give or take 5 years, is kind of the first time where graphics and presentation don't come at the expense of gameplay.
Oh, interesting.
Do you know what I mean? Like in order to make the game look cool and give you that perspective, the controls had to suffer. The performance had to suffer. Nowadays, they can give you the first person. They can give you the immersion and this and that. You know, think about something like Max Payne on the PlayStation 2.
Yep.
Even that was too early. Cool presentation and bullet time and stuff, but it didn't play well. Now you get Max Payne 3, which we played recently last week. And that's even 2012 is starting to be more of like, here's slow motion, but it also plays well.
Yeah.
You know, here's a cockpit game, but it feels more immersive, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not the trick, you know.
Yes. No, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? It's not just the trick and going like, and that's the trick. It's not actually that fun, but it's cool, right?
Yes.
And you're like, yeah, it is kind of cool.
Right.
And now we'd be like, that's it? Like,
Yes.
that's it. But it's, you know, it
like
hurts the gameplay.
Like the difference between Sega Saturn 3D and N64 3D. Sega Saturn is like, you can imagine that this is a 3D environment, and N64 is like, go run around the garden as much as you want.
Yeah, a Virtual Boy, and then you strap on your Oculus. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
No, so I don't want to take away too much from it, but I really struggled with this game. I think there are NES games that are simple for simple's sake, and they age very well. I did not find this to be one of them, but I don't know how much more we can say about Andrew. Are you ready to get into your reviews of the game?
Why don't we do it?
So as we mentioned, we don't have any experience having played this game back when we were kids. So you're going to give your first rating out of 4 bits based on your perception of what you think you would have thought of the game had you played it back in 1990 as a little baby boy. Piloting a little baby F-14.
Yep.
Hi, I'm a raptor.
Yep.
Did someone say Jurassic Park?
Rawr.
Rawr.
I'm a raptor.
Oh my God, Andrew, did you hear that?
No, that was me, Mikey. That was me. I know. You must have been pretty stressed there. It was a pretty good raptor sound.
Andrew, you know you can't do that to me. My heart hurts. You know I got that achy breaky heart.
Oh, no. Do you have achy breaky heart?
Yeah, I got sick heart.
Oh, I have a case of Great Balls of Fire.
You have Great Balls of Fire.
do.
You should get that checked out.
I really should.
How's your partner feel about that?
It's not good.
Not good.
Take me home, you stud, as Meg Ryan says to Anthony Edwards. Meg Ryan's also in that movie.
Yeah,
Like, that's just crazy. Okay, sorry. We were talking about it before that of just how many actors are in this movie that you're like Tim Robbins is in this movie in a brief, small role.
Right.
Man, Top Gun.
Top
I can't
Gun.
wait for Top Gun 2.
Top notch.
100%. Okay, so let's get to the scores, Mikey.
Yes. Andrew, why don't you start us off with your score out of 4 bits?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so, yeah. It's not a great game, guys. It's not a great game. But as a kid, this really might have been the time where I would have fucking loved it. Like, it would have been the time where I'm like, I am a pilot. You know, the other one too is it is difficult, and maybe in the modern day we might say difficult for difficult sake, or unnecessarily difficult.
Because it's based off of the blueprints of an arcade game, so it's supposed to.
Exactly. Yeah. But as a kid, you wouldn't have known the difference.
No.
You would have been like, that's different, but so is Contra. You know, and like, what are you going to do? I got to learn how to do this. So I think I've been a lot more forgiving for this game, and I think I would have had a lot more fun. But yet, if it's like this versus like Sonic.
Yeah.
Well, Sonic's like bright colors and fun, and I was good at it immediately. I'm going to give it a 2.5 as a way of saying that I probably would have enjoyed it, but I would have played other games with much more endurance.
I think that's fair. 2.5 it's right around what I'm thinking. And here's the why. Here's the reason why. Right now, as a 33-year-old playing this game, not enjoying it too much. Sure. However, as a kid, the idea of being a pilot, I was obsessed with it. I used to play like the old like Wing Commander, TIE Fighter, all those old Star Wars flying games and things like that. But they were so complex that I never felt like I was playing them properly. The fact that this was easily accessible on the NES and was a 2-button setup probably would have been better for me than some of those TIE Fighter games. I would die immediately. I didn't really know how to take other ships down in those games. I think, was it Rebel Assault was a game that I really liked as a kid. That one was a good kind of in between there. But this one was, I think it would have scratched that itch for me. Maybe not as much as a Rebel Assault, because as a kid, I didn't have any affinity towards Top Gun. And as you mentioned, feeling like you are Maverick is a point. Like, they make a point in the beginning to tell you that you are Maverick.
They do, yes.
And that's important. So I wouldn't rate it as high as some of those Star Wars flight games, but flight games in general always got my motor revving.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right.
So I'm going to give this one a 2.5 out of 4 as well.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I was shocked to hear that. Okay. So 2.5s, that's a 5 out of 8 in our retro scores. Let's get to our current scores. This is the hard one of the two. The two, as a kid, you're like, yeah, I would have liked that. That's fine. Yeah. But I wouldn't have loved it. That's fine. That's easy. Now you start sitting there going like, well, the graphics are bad.
Yes.
The controls aren't good.
Right.
The music is fine. You're starting to really start to pick apart it and go like, we talked about this with the Max Payne thing. You start looking at the single elements at the end and then going, but did you have fun?
Sure.
Good or bad? Did you have fun? I liked it fine. It was totally fine.
Sure.
But there are so many more games that you can play that are so much better. And so I think that the game can't get really high score, even though I really did kind of enjoy it at the end of the day. I just don't know how much time I could put into it. That's a 1.5 for me.
1.5. That is more along the lines of what I'm expecting to give it. I agree. It is sort of impressive for what it is. It's impressive to consider that this came out when it did, but it isn't impressive now, and it isn't fun now, and it feels devoid of soul. I mean, licensed games, even bad ones, do a better job of making you feel like you are the person who you're supposed to be. So it kind of fails on all fronts.
Okay.
Much like me when I'm piloting the F-14 in this game. And because of that, there's just kind of nothing redeeming. I know that I kept saying I want to play, like if you listen to the gameplay or watch the gameplay over on our Patreon, first of all, thanks. Secondly, I did keep saying, let's play again, let's play again, let's play again. Yeah. Because it just didn't, I couldn't accept that that's all it was.
Right.
I was like, there has to be more to this.
Yeah.
Give us one more. It's maybe 20, 30 seconds of a dogfight. And then we have to do it again. But I'm like, I have to believe that there's more to it. And it turns out there wasn't. No. Like, I have no desire to turn this game on again. And there are a lot of NES games that I would want to turn on again. And that's, because of that, like, very...
That's that.
And that's that. 1 out of 4.
Oh, you give it a 1.
Giving it a 1 out of 4.
Okay. Well, there you go. So that's a 2.5 out of 8 in our current scores. Yeah. With a combined score, what did I say? 2.5. So that's a 7.5 out of 16.
Nope. It's a total of a 7.
Oh. Wait. How is that possible?
Well, we got 2.5.
1.5 for me and a 1 for you.
Oh, you had 1.5.
Yeah. So that's a 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5.
16. So, Mikey's on an Excel sheet doing that right now, and the human brain once again defeats the computers.
Yeah.
Classic.
Call Andrew Big Blue.
I am Big Blue. I am Big Blue balls.
Well, no, they're great balls of fire, actually.
Yes. One is red, one is blue. It's a constant battle between the two of them.
Yes.
So there you go. 7.5 out of 16. Actually, you know what? 7.5 out of 16. Kind of better than I thought.
Honestly, much better than I
okay.
thought. I get it's less than half, it's less than 50%, but for a game that is as stripped down as this is, this game looks like the Razor Crest before the Mandalorian
and Boba Fett.
Got it back.
Wow.
Or not, no, the Naboo Starfighter, sorry. Looked like the Naboo Starfighter before he was able to... Look, that's how stripped down it is.
Right. Okay, that's how stripped down it is.
The Naboo Starfighter, the F-14 of the Star Wars world? Maybe.
Oh.
Or probably the X-Wing. I
Discuss
think
among
the X-Wing
yourselves.
would be.
Discuss among yourselves on that one.
Include me, though. I like to be included.
Absolutely. Mikey, I'm so excited because not only did we play this game, and that was, fun. I had fun playing that against each other, was that Top Gun Maverick is coming out.
Fuck yeah.
And we are going to have an episode devoted to that on our Patreon. It'll be coming out soon, I promise. We will be announcing when that's coming out, but we can't wait to talk about it.
Hey, listen, what I'll say is this. If you found us because you were searching Top Gun and you've made it this far, well, guess what? For $5, you can get access to our entire back catalog of bonus episodes over on Patreon. You can wait until we get that Maverick episode up, which should be before the end of this month.
Yep.
And then fucking take your money away if you don't like it.
Yeah, you can do that.
You get to see the gameplay. You get to see all of our bonus episodes, which are up there already, and then you'll get to have our Maverick, our Top Gun Maverick spoiler cast as well.
Wow, we love doing that. So thank you so much for listening. We love every single one of you. We can't wait to see you over there to talk about Top Gun Maverick.
I want to see you over at the red carpet, Andrew.
No, I don't.
Do we
have to? I thought if I just skip past it, no one would do that.
You really don't want to?
No, I don't.
Did you not wash your flight suit? Did you not wash your flight? Is that why?
Yeah.
Because we got to wear the flight suit.
Yeah,
over
I got to wear flight suits.
Well, look,
actually, we'd look pretty good in the flight suits.
Of course we would.
Yeah, I know.
Little tushes showing everywhere. Todd Snap is calling us over, the photographer of the bunch. Let's go over to the red carpet and see what this award ceremony has in store.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous award ceremony of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grady's.
Oh, wow. Here we are, Andrew. Andrew, this is our awards ceremony.
I forgot that we did this. Have we done this a lot?
Yeah, for the last 100 episodes or so, it's not a big deal.
I've done this 100 times, eh?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Wow. It's like a memento thing I'm going to write on my arm
yes,
here.
Exactly.
Like award ceremony. Okay,
exactly.
Award ceremony.
Well, Elliot's coming. He remembered to be here, and he showed up in his flight suit.
He looks pretty good in his flight suit.
Hey, Elliot, you looking for
What do you think Elliot's call sign would be?
Ooh. Wouldn't it just be Elliot?
It just says Elliot across his helmet. Oh, you don't find that funny? Come on, that's funny.
I think
it's because you're stupid.
I think it would just be engineer.
Forget me not.
Forget me not's pretty good. You're good at coming up with call signs.
Thank you very much. I wish you were better. That's too bad.
Okay, well, Elliot, why don't you reach into that little flight suit of yours and let us know what awards this game won?
Wow.
Okay. And they say in space, no one can hear you scream. Well, guess what? In the sky, you can't hear the crickets screaming from down below. It's crickets. This game didn't win any awards.
I think the planes are flying too high for us to give them awards.
Oh, I think the planes are flying high enough to drop some crop dust on the ground and kill all those crickets dead in their tracks.
God. All right. Well, that's, well, Mikey, we have a little tradition around here.
We do. What is it? I'm not sure you know because
I thought you were going to start there. I'm so sorry.
No, typically what happens when the game doesn't win an award, Elliot has 2 secret envelopes which he hands to each of us, and they are customized awards for these games. Yeah. Andrew, there's yours. I'll toss it over to you.
Thank you very much. And yes, caught it. All right, very
nice
good.
Catch.
Thank you very much. It was a good throw.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'll go first here. This award. So for Top Gun 2, the award is this Cooked Our Goose.
Oh,
Cooked Our Goose.
Cooked Our Goose.
Because it's dead and bad.
Oh, no.
What the fuck, Elliot?
Jesus, Elliot.
Seriously.
Simmer down.
Dead and bad? That's not even good writing.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ. I think he's illiterate.
I think he's illiterate.
Yeah.
How do you spell that? I don't know.
No, really? Okay.
Oof. Okay, I'm going to get my award.
That's how he wrote it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Elliot.
Not good.
Elliot, you son of a bitch. My award. Wow. Val Kilmer's Career in the Modern Day Award?
What is that?
Oh, it's just non-existent. This game just feels like it doesn't even exist.
This game feels like it doesn't exist. With how many games they've made of Top Gun, it's really hard to get lost in the shuffle here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Elliot, that's also pretty morbid, though.
Really, he's like going through stuff,
He's going through a lot of shit.
Yeah, that documentary was very nice and touching, and you got to like shit all over it like
fucking
that.
hell.
You know? Classic throw.
Classic throw.
Jeez. Okay. So, wow. Those 2 awards really stomped on the skull of this game.
Absolutely.
Too bad because, you know what? I kind of had a little bit of fun playing it. But if you had played this game, let us know. And we'd love to talk about it over on our socials. At Retrograde Mikey, at Retrograde Andy.
Hell yeah.
On top of that, we can't wait to talk to you soon. Probably talking about Top Gun Maverick over on Patreon, but we love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name is Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, late night,
Mikey Aaronworth.
Thank
I thought
you
you were
very
going to say Mr. Bebop himself. You threw me off.
Oh, Mr. Bebop himself, Mikey Aaronworth, and my name is Andrew Bascom. This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over. Want more Retrograde in your life? You can visit our website for show notes at theretrogradepod.com. Follow us on Twitter at Retrograde Mikey, at Retrograde Andy, and the podcast at Retrograde Pod.
Or Instagram at the Retrograde Podcast.
For bonus episodes, check us out at patreon.com/theretrogradepodcast.
Send your questions and business inquiries to the retrogradepodcast@gmail.com.
See you next week, D-pads.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
I am Big Blue Balls.